at the
2026 is shaping up to be one of the most exciting years in gaming in recent memory, with massive releases like GTA 6, Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, and the game we are focusing on today, Marvel's Wolverine from Insomniac Games, the studio behind classics like the Spyro trilogy, the Ratchet & Clank series, and more recently the critically acclaimed Spider-Man titles. At Sony's PlayStation State of Play on September 24th, 2025, we finally got a fresh look at Wolverine with a full gameplay trailer. This comes nearly 4 years after the original 53-second teaser reveal back at the 2021 PlayStation Showcase. Fans have been waiting in the dark, and now we finally have something concrete to dive into. We can finally retire these two screenshots. So with the hype still at an all-time high, let's break down everything we know about Marvel's Wolverine, the team, the characters, the factions, the locations, the suits, and of course, the gameplay. First up, the team. The game is in the hands of some of Insomniac's most experienced talent. Marcus Smith is leading as creative director. He previously held the same role on all 3 Spider-Man games as well as Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. He stepped in after Brian Horton, who originally held the position, departed in 2024. Mike Daly serves as game director, taking over from Cameron Christian. Daly and Smith already have a history working together, having collaborated on Rift Apart. Jess Rainer Reed is the project director. Her track record includes senior project manager on Spider-Man, lead project manager on Miles Morales, and now a promotion to project director for Wolverine. Eric Monacelli joins as executive producer on behalf of Marvel Games. Fun fact, Monacelli is one of the key reasons the symbiote suit wasn't included in the first Spider-Man. Marvel wanted the suit's presence to carry more story weight rather than just being another cosmetic unlock. Mary Kenny is returning as co-writer. She previously co-wrote Miles Morales and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, bringing valuable storytelling experience to Wolverine. With this lineup, the game seems to be in very capable hands. Veterans of Insomniac's Spider-Man series are stepping into leadership roles this time, and familiar writers are returning to build Wolverine's story. There are still some big questions left unanswered. Will Jacinta Chu, the art director behind the Spider-Man games, return for this project? What about John Paquette, lead writer of Spider-Man 1 and 2? And will longtime creative leaders like Brian Intihar and Ryan Smith make an appearance on the project in any capacity? For now, all we can say is that Marvel's Wolverine looks to be in excellent shape, and the people involved inspire a lot of confidence. Now let's talk about the characters we know are showing up. Mystique, Raven Darkholm. A cunning and dangerous mutant shapeshifter, Mystique possesses the ability to alter her appearance at will, allowing her to mimic anyone's voice, face, or body with near-perfect precision. Known for her striking blue skin and yellow eyes in her natural form, she is a master spy, assassin, and strategist. Mystique is often portrayed as morally ambiguous, sometimes a terrorist fighting for mutant supremacy, other times a reluctant ally. Intelligent, manipulative, and fiercely independent, Mystique embodies the gray area between hero and villain in the X-Men universe. I'm confident Mystique will be a playable character in the game, because why else would they show Mystique combat gameplay specifically? Omega Red, Arkady Rosovich. A brutal Russian mutant super soldier, Omega Red is a former serial killer turned living weapon. His mutation grants him death spores, pheromones that drain the life force of those around him, and he wields retractable carbonadium tentacles, a more unstable metal than adamantium, that he uses to ensnare and drain enemies. Enhanced with superhuman strength, durability, and a healing factor, he is often deployed as a ruthless assassin or enforcer. Created during the Cold War as part of Russia's attempt to rival Wolverine and Captain America, Omega Red remains one of Wolverine's deadliest foes, embodying the dangers of government-made weapons and unchecked brutality. The Sentinels, or a prototype Sentinel. Giant mutant hunting robots created by humanity to control or eradicate mutants. The Sentinels are one of the X-Men's most persistent threats. First built by scientist Bolivar Trask, they are designed with advanced weapons, flight capabilities, and the ability to detect the X gene. Over the years, countless upgraded models have appeared, from towering machines to nanotech variations, each representing fear, prejudice, and humanity's drive to dominate mutants. The Sentinels embody the X-Men's core struggle, the fight for survival against systematic hatred and oppression turned into cold, relentless machinery. Factions are likely to play a huge role like previous Insomniac Spider-Man games. The Reavers, a ruthless private military organization made up largely of cybernetically enhanced mercenaries. The Reavers specialize in mutant hunting and high-tech warfare. Originally based in Australia, they often operate as heavily armed marauders and assassins for hire. Their most notorious incarnation was led by Donald Pierce, a former White Bishop of the Hellfire Club, who rebuilt the team into a squad of cybernetic soldiers driven by profit and revenge against mutants. especially the X-Men. Known for their brutality, advanced weaponry, and mechanical augmentations, the Reavers stand out as one of the deadliest human threats in the X-Men world. It looks like the Trask Corporation somehow will play a big part of the game, as we see Trask soldiers and even a Trask tower. Bolivar Trask is of course the mastermind behind the Sentinels. The Hand is an ancient and secretive ninja clan in the Marvel Universe, originating in feudal Japan. They are a cult-like organization of assassins known for their mastery of martial arts, stealth, and dark mysticism. Unlike ordinary ninjas, the Hand frequently uses black magic and necromancy, granting them the ability to resurrect fallen warriors as loyal undead servants. They operate as mercenaries, spies, and killers for hire, but also pursue their own agenda of global influence and domination. The clan has deep ties to crime, corruption, and mysticism across the world. Over the years, the Hand has clashed with heroes like Wolverine, Daredevil, Elektra, and the X-Men, often serving as shadow antagonists in stories involving Japan, Madripoor, or the criminal underworld. And considering Japan and Madripoor will play a huge part in this game, the Hand is primed to make an appearance. Locations. Unlike the Spider-Man games, which stay rooted in New York, the home turf of Peter and Miles, Wolverine is a globetrotter. This story takes him across the world, and the game reflects that, with 3 distinct international locations already confirmed. Let's start with the frosted wilderness of Canada. Canada is both Wolverine's birthplace and the foundation of his story. Born James Howlett in Alberta, he later took the name Logan and became entangled with the Canadian government's Weapon X program, where a skeleton was bonded with adamantium, turning him into a living weapon. Before joining the X-Men, he also worked for Department H, the Canadian government's agency that created Alpha Flight, making him one of Canada's most iconic heroes. His rugged wilderness-driven identity and a complex past are deeply tied to the Canadian landscape and history. Next up, we are headed to the narrow streets of Tokyo, Japan. Wolverine has deep personal and cultural ties to Japan, which have shaped much of his character. After years of wandering, he trained under the wise sensei who held the master samurai discipline, Bushido, and martial arts, balancing his feral instincts with honor and restraint. In Japan, he also fell in love with Mariko Yoshida, heir to the Yoshida crime family. Their tragic romance, torn apart by family duty, crime syndicates, and Wolverine's violent world, remains one of the most defining relationships of his life. Through these experiences, Japan became a second home for Wolverine, representing both inner peace and heartbreaking loss. Japan could open the door to introduce characters such as Yukio, Ogun, Murasama, one of the Silver Samurais, and Lady Deathstrike. I remember Japan being the main setting for 2013's movie The Wolverine, which featured characters like Mariko, Yukio, Viper / Madame Hydra, the Silver Samurai, and Ogun. Wolverine has a long history with the lawless island nation of Madripoor, a hotspot for crime, smuggling, and espionage in the Marvel Universe. Operating under the alias Patch, wearing a simple eye patch as a disguise, he often navigates the seedy underworld of Madripoor, balancing between mercenary work, covert missions, and protecting the innocent caught in the crossfire. Madripoor serves as a stage for Wolverine's gritty street-level adventures, showcasing his skill as a lone operative outside the X-Men, and highlighting his connections to spies, criminals, and power players across the globe. Madripoor is divided into 2 distinct districts, Hightown and Lowtown. Hightown is the upscale wealthy district of Madripoor, home to the elite including business magnates, politicians, and high-class criminals, featuring luxury hotels, casinos, and fine dining, representing the glamorous side of the island. Security is tighter here, and the law is more strictly enforced, though often corrupted to favor the rich. Lowtown is the seedy, lawless district dominated by gangs, smugglers, and street-level criminals. It's filled with run-down buildings, black market shops, and criminal operations. It's a dangerous area where Wolverine and other operatives often conduct covert missions, representing the gritty, chaotic underworld of Madripoor, contrasting sharply with Hightown's polished veneer. This division is a key part of Madripoor's narrative in Wolverine and the X-Men stories. Now let's talk style. If Marvel's Wolverine follows in the footsteps of the Spider-Man games, we can expect a huge variety of suits, and I mean a lot, ranging from iconic to downright strange. So far, 3 suits have been confirmed and shown in the trailer. 2 are casual civilian outfits. One is a brown bomber jacket with fur, and the other one is a flannel shirt paired with a cowboy hat. And the main costume is a classic-inspired yellow and blue suit, but with an Insomniac twist. It features added armor. There was a funny Twitter comment I saw where he criticized the armored look, and someone replied perfectly, just because Wolverine has a healing factor doesn't mean he enjoys getting shot. With Madripoor confirmed as a location, it raises an interesting question. Could we see the iconic Patch suit appear either as a story-driven outfit or as an unlockable costume? What we know and don't know. Wolverine will be voiced by actor Liam McIntyre, You might recognize him as the Weather Wizard on the CW Flash series, or as Spartacus in Spartacus Vengeance and War of the Damned. This version of Wolverine is already well established. We know he has gone through the Weapon X program, his adamantium claws as Skull prove it, and of course his iconic healing factor is in play. Since Wolverine is effectively immortal, it will be fascinating to see how Insomniac integrates the healing factor into gameplay. Personally, I haven't played a Wolverine game before, so I'm curious to see how they will handle it, and how they will do compared to previous Wolverine games. The cover art for the game has been revealed, and like the Spider-Man games, it's very minimalistic. The big difference is that instead of an in-game render, this one is illustrated and far more dynamic, showing Wolverine in a combat-ready stance. As for release, the game is slated for autumn 2026 or fall for North Americans. Sony and Insomniac have confirmed we will get more details in spring 2026 as we approach launch. The rating will almost certainly be M for mature, 17+ by the ESRB and 18 by PEGI. Given the intense violence, blood and dismemberment, strong language and possibly sexual content could be a part of the rating. Compare this to the Insomniac games, which were rated T14, 13+ by the ESRB and 16 by PEGI, mostly for moderate violence, suggestive themes and or mild language. Wolverine is clearly aiming for a darker, grittier tone, and let's be real, the real question is, will Insomniac let Wolverine fall? In terms of structure, Marvel's Wolverine may lean toward being a more linear experience than Spider-Man, and honestly that fits the character. A tightly focused story, possibly with open exploration in key areas like Uncharted 4, could work perfectly. This would also leave room for cool gameplay shifts like undercover patch missions and Mazepur. Gameplay details are still scarce, but from what we have seen, expect destructible environments, dismemberment and plenty of blood, all of which makes sense for Wolverine's brutal fighting style. That still leaves one big question: will there be time for a James Logan Howlett original? If you learned anything from this video, do give it a like, subscribe to see more, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.
Hiding in shadows where we don't belong, living in darkness to hide our wrongs.